Most people wait to feel motivated before they begin, believing action should come from emotion. But motivation is unstable. It rises without warning and disappears just as easily, and it never asks permission before leaving. Consistency behaves differently. It shows up quietly, without excitement or force, and that is why it works. Motivation feels powerful at the beginning, creating sudden movement and big promises, but it depends on mood, and moods change faster than habits. Consistency does not care how you feel today. It only cares that you show up. When motivation fades, most people stop and assume something is wrong, but nothing is wrong. This is normal. The mistake is believing motivation was required in the first place. Consistency starts when emotion is absent, when the task feels ordinary or even boring, and that is the moment progress becomes real. Two people can start the same journey. One relies on motivation, the other relies on repetition. The motivated person moves fast and then disappears, while the consistent person moves slowly and keeps going. Consistency does not demand confidence or belief. It does not ask for inspiration. It only asks for repetition. On most days, it feels unimpressive, with no excitement or reward, and that is why most people abandon it, confusing quiet with useless. Small actions feel insignificant in isolation, but repetition changes their weight. One step means nothing. 1,000 steps change direction. Consistency works because the brain learns through repetition, not intensity. It trusts what repeats and resists what spikes. Motivation is emotional. Consistency is mechanical. Emotion is unreliable. Systems are not. When you repeat an action daily, your brain stops negotiating. The task becomes familiar and then automatic, and this is where effort decreases. At first, consistency feels harder than motivation, because motivation gives energy up front, while consistency gives results later, and most people choose immediate energy over delayed progress. Consistency builds identity quietly. You do not feel different at first, but one day you realize you no longer argue with yourself. You simply do the thing. Motivation wants drama. Consistency wants structure. Motivation wants freedom. Consistency creates it. Progress built on motivation is fragile. Progress built on consistency survives bad days, and bad days are guaranteed. Consistency does not remove failure. It removes collapse. Missing once does not matter. Stopping does. Consistency forgives imperfection. Motivation does not. Motivation quits when things are not perfect. Consistency continues anyway. The most disciplined people are not intense. They are predictable. They do not rely on feeling ready. They rely on routine. Consistency is not exciting enough to brag about, which is why it is rare. It looks ordinary from the outside, but compounds invisibly. What you repeat becomes easier. What you avoid becomes heavier. This is not mindset. This is biology. The brain adapts to repeated exposure. Resistance fades through familiarity, not inspiration. Consistency removes decision fatigue. You no longer ask whether you should do the task today. The answer is already decided. Motivation asks why. Consistency already knows when. Consistency does not require discipline forever, only long enough for habit to take over, and after that, discipline becomes unnecessary. Motivation is loud at the start. Consistency is silent at the finish. People overestimate what motivation can sustain and underestimate what repetition can build. Consistency turns effort into routine, routine into identity, and identity into outcome. You do not rise to motivation, you fall to consistency. The strongest progress happens when no one is watching, when no one is cheering, when nothing feels special. Consistency works because it survives boredom. Motivation does not. Boredom is not a sign to stop. It is a sign that repetition is working. Consistency creates trust with yourself. You stop doubting your ability to show up. Confidence follows behavior, not the other way around. Motivation chases results. Consistency creates them. The future rewards repetition, not intensity. Consistency turns small actions into inevitability. You do not need more motivation, you need fewer excuses and better systems. Motivation fades, consistency remains, and over time, what once required effort requires nothing. That is why consistency works when motivation fails. Consistency does not feel powerful until one day you realize it changed everything.